Welcome to Running the Table, the podcast where we run through everything on the table in the world of college basketball. And we got another game recap. Butler hosting number 4 Marquette. It was a close one. It was a nail biter, but not the outcome that Dawgs fans were expecting. So without further ado, let's run it. Butler played host to Marquette for the second time this season and lost 78 to 72. In the first half, Butler definitely started out kind of flat. They made a lot of mistakes. They turned the ball over a lot, but they were definitely fortunate because they kept it close, only trailing by 2 going into the half, 34 to 32. In the second half, that's when offenses kind of woke up a little bit more. Marquette opened the second half with a 10-4 run, and that's where the game stayed around an 8 to 10 point lead until about 8 minutes left when Butler, led by Finley Bizjack, got hot. Butler went on a 13-4 run. Bizjack had 10 of those points, and it cut the game close. The game was right within reach, but then with about 90 seconds left, Tyler Kolek, the best player on the floor, iced the game with a dagger 3, 6 point deficit, and that's where it stayed the rest of the way. So let's get into some major points for both teams, starting with Butler. The top performers for the Dawgs, Jamil Telfort, he had 12 points. He was 5 for 12 from the field and 2 for 3 from the three-point line. He also contributed 6 rebounds and 6 assists. But the best player on the floor for the Dawgs that night was the freshman Finley Bizjack, who scored a season high in points with 19. He was 5 for 10 from the field, 3 for 7 from 3, and 6 for 8 from the free throw line. And he was huge in so many ways. He came off the bench, and when he got hot, it's like he couldn't miss. He was a large part in that run, getting us back in the game in the second half. He hit some big time threes coming off of screens, pick and pop, and he really hit his stride over the past few games. Butler may have found another weapon in Finley Bizjack, and having a freshman step up and become a key contributor adds another crucial dimension for the postseason. But on the negative side, something that they really have to clean up is the turnover troubles, especially in the first half. Let's be real, first half wasn't a good one, especially when it comes to mistakes and turnovers. For the game total, Butler doubled Marquette's turnover margin. Butler turned the ball over 14 times, and Marquette turned it over 7 times. This led to a lot of fast break opportunities and easy buckets for Marquette. Thankfully, they cleaned it up in the second half, but who knows? If they play a better first half and start a little bit faster, you got to think that the outcome may have been different. Another thing that Butler really needed to work on was too many points in the paint allowed. Marquette dominated in that area. They had 46 points in the paint to Butler's 20. And it's not really even that Marquette is bigger than Butler size-wise. They just found Butler out of position very frequently. And it led to a lot of easy layups, floaters, runners, and some big time dunks that kept the momentum on Marquette's side for this game. On Marquette's side, some of their top performers, Oso Ighodaro contributed a double-double. The big man had 17 points, 7 for 12 from the field, and 10 rebounds. But let's be real, the best player on Marquette and the best player in the game was Tyler Kolek. 27 points, 10 for 21 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3, and 5 for 5 from the free throw line. He also had 7 rebounds and 5 assists. And honestly, I don't think that stat line tells the whole story of just how good he was. Now, coming into the game, Tyler Kolek had a few comments after Marquette's last game against St. John's. He was talking about how easy it was that he could get to the rim for St. John's and that they were a barbecue chicken. I was really hoping that we'd shut him up. And spoiler alert, we did not. Tyler Kolek could pretty much do no wrong. He seemed like he could do whatever he wanted on the floor with or without the ball. He definitely cemented the fact that he is one of, if not the best all-around point guards in the country. And if he wasn't playing against my Dawgs, I would say that watching Tyler Kolek go to work was pretty fun. But given that it was in a loss, definitely wasn't fun at all. Definitely wish we would have locked him up a little bit more, but he really is just that good. And in a similar vein with Marquette's offense, Shaka Smart has done a really good job of drawing up creative offensive plays to get guys open looks. Lots of off-ball movement, in all seconds of the shot clock. They had a lot of cuts, backside screens, and that's where you get those open threes. That's where you get those mismatches and misalignments defensively for Butler. And they had Butler defenders lost in space all night. So, for as much as Butler could have cleaned up themselves defensively and played a little bit tougher, all the credit in the world has to go to Marquette because they had an awesome offensive game plan and they executed. And this is pretty much what Marquette has done all year. They are firing on all cylinders. We thought they were good last year, but they may be even better this year. They're as dangerous as anybody in the country, and they are looking to prove it this year after last year's tournament exit. Coming up next in the schedule for Butler, it doesn't get any easier. They play host to number 17, Creighton, on Saturday. This is another team that the Dawgs beat on the road. If you want to watch that recap, we have that on the channel. Go see that absolute barn burner. But Creighton's going to be upset. They're not going to be happy. This is another situation where, we beat Marquette on the road, and then Marquette came back and brought their A game and beat us. Hopefully we can look for a different outcome. As far as tournament implications go, this loss doesn't hurt us too much. I mean, a win against Marquette would have been awesome, boosted our stock and our momentum even more. But, every game's going to count, and we're on the bubble. And given that this is our fourth ranked opponent in the last 5 games coming up, we're going to need some big, big, big performances and a big time win. On Marquette's side, their next game is arguably the biggest upcoming game for the season in the entire conference of the Big East. They go to Connecticut to play number 1 UConn on Saturday. The AP poll has treated Marquette very, very well, but they're shooting for a 1 seed in the tournament, and winning at UConn and ending that home game win streak would go a long, long way. But that's all I got for this game recap. If you want more game recaps, I do Butler ball. Tim does Purdue basketball. So we got most of the major schools in Indiana covered, as well as other college basketball stuff, whether it comes from Boom Buster Believable. And if you want us to talk about anything else, let us know. But until next time, I'm out.